In 107 AC, Alicent bore Viserys the boy Aegon, and the king finally had a son. Aegon was followed by a sister, Helena, his future bride, and by another son named Aemond. But the birth of a son meant that the succession was once more called into question, and not least by the queen herself, as well as her father, the Hand, who were anxious to see their blood set over Emma's. Sir Otto overstepped himself, however, and in 109 AC he was replaced by Lord Lionel Strong, who had served ably as Master of Laws. For King Viserys, the matter was long settled. Rhaenyra was his heir, and he did not wish to hear arguments otherwise, despite the decrees of the Great Council of 101, which always placed a man above a woman. The accounts and letters preserved from this time begin to speak of a queen's party and the party of the princess. Thanks to the tourney of 111 AC, they were soon known by simpler names, the Greens and the Blacks. At this tourney, we are told, Queen Alicent was beautifully clad in a gown of green, while Rhaenyra left no one in doubt of her inheritance by wearing black, embellished with red, for the banners of House Targaryen. This same tourney saw the return of Daemon Targaryen, king of the Narrow Sea, from his wars. He wore his crown when Caraxes alighted, but he knelt before his brother and removed the crown, offering it up in a token of fealty. Viserys raised him back up, returned the crown, and kissed him upon both cheeks. For all the turmoil between them, Viserys truly loved his brother. Those at the tourney cheered, but none more loudly than Rhaenyra, who loved her dashing uncle as well. More than well, perhaps, though our sources are contradictory. It was only a few moons later that Daemon was exiled. As for the reason, our sources differ greatly. Some, such as Runciter and Munkun, suggest that King Viserys and King Daemon quarreled, for brotherly love rarely stands in the way of disagreements. And that is why Daemon left. Others say that it was Alicent, at Sir Otto's prompting possibly, who convinced Viserys that Daemon must leave. But two speak more fully on the matter. Septon Eustace's The Reign of King Viserys, First of His Name, and The Dance of the Dragons That Came After, was written by the Septon after the war came to its end. Though dry and ponderous in his writing, Eustace was clearly a confidant of the Targaryens, and speaks accurately of many things. Mushrooms, the testimony of Mushroom, is another matter, however. A dwarf 3 feet tall, with an enormous head, and an enormous member to go with it if he is to be believed. Mushroom was the court jester, and was thought to be a lackwit. Therefore, the worthies of the court spoke freely around him. His testimony alleges to be his account of the events of the years when he was at court, set down by a scribe whose name we do not know, and it is filled with Mushroom's tales of plots, murders, trysts, debaucheries, and more, and all in the most explicit detail. Septon Eustace's and Mushroom's accounts are often at odds with one another, but at times there are some surprising areas of agreement between them. Eustace claims that Daemon and Prince Rhaenyra were caught abed together by Sir Eric Cargill, and it was this that made Viserys exile his brother from court. Mushroom tells a different tale, however, that Rhaenyra had eyes only for Sir Criston Cole, but that the knight had declined her overtures. It was then that her uncle offered to school her in the arts of love, so that she might move the virtuous Sir Criston to break his vows. But when she finally thought herself ready to approach him, the knight, whom Mushroom swears was as chaste and virtuous as an aged septa, reacted in horror and disgust. Viserys soon heard of it. And whatever version of the tale was true, we do know that Daemon asked for Rhaenyra's hand, if only Viserys would set aside his marriage to Lady Rhea. Viserys refused, and instead exiled Daemon from the Seven Kingdoms, never to return upon pain of death. Daemon departed, returning to the Stepstones to continue with his war.